So for today's video, I am going to answer the practice problem that is given to us. So let's start. This, in Latin, dispensatur, which means in English, dispense. Sup, in Latin, suppositorium, which means suppository. Rect, in Latin, prorecto, which means rectal or rectum. No, in Latin, numero, which means number in English. Then XII is Latin for 12. So the answer for this letter A is, since we have dispense, suppository, rectal, then number 12, the answer is dispense 12 rectal suppositories. M in Latin is mice. I don't know how to pronounce it, which means mix. FT, fiat, which means make. ISO, there is no Latin for it based on our PPT, so isotonic. Then sol, Latin for solution, which means solution. Dispensator in Latin, which means dispense. Then 120 ml, ml is milliliter. So the answer for this is mix and make an isotonic solution. Then we have dispense 120 ml or milliliter. M again, mice or mice in Latin, which means mix. Et, there is no Latin for it, which means and. Div in Latin is dividatur, which means divide. In, there's no Latin also, meaning into. Pulvis in Latin, which means powder. Numero in Latin, which means number. Then we have XL, Latin for 40. The answer for this is mix and divide into, we must put 40 first, 40 powder, for the powder. And DTD in Latin, denture talis, denture talis doses in Latin, which means give of such doses. Then VI, Latin for 6. Non-rep or NR is non-repetitur in Latin, which means do not repeat. The answer: give of. We must write first the 6 before such doses, then non-rep, do not repeat. M again, my C in Latin, which means mix. Et, no Latin, only and in English. FT, fiat, which means make. Or UNG, I don't know how to pronounce it, which means in Latin, anggentum, I don't know how also to pronounce it, which means ointment. Dispensatur in Latin, which means dispense. Then 10G is grams. The answer is mix. So let's write first the mix and make ointment. Dispense 10G or grams. M again, mice in Latin, which means mix. Et, which means and in English. FT, fiat in Latin, which means make. Then cups, which means there is no Latin for it. Cups, or which means capsule or capsules in English. DTD, then tales doses in Latin, which means give of such doses. Then XL VII is for 48 in XLVII, Latin for 48. The answer is mix and make capsules, give off 48 such doses. M again and again, mice in Latin, which means mix in English. Et, which means and. FT, fiat, which means make. Sus which means there is no Latin for soups according to the PPT. It is only suspension. 1G TBSP. 1G is equals to 1 grams per tablespoon full. This dispensatur in Latin, which means dispense. 60 ml is milliliter. So the answer for this is mix and make a suspension containing the containing 1 g or grams per tablespoonful. Then dispense 60 ml or milliliter. FT, payat in Latin, which means make. Cap, again, no Latin, capsule. 1. DTD, denture thales doses in Latin, which means give of such doses. No number, numero in Latin, the number for English. XXXVI, then 30, Latin for 36. And R is non-repetiture, which means do not repeat. And the answer is, we have make capsule 1, make 1 capsule. Then we have give of 36 such doses. Then last, do not repeat. And mice in Latin, which means mix. Et, which means and. FT, payat in Latin, which means make. Pulvis in Latin, which means powder. DTD, denture thales doses, which means give of such doses. Number C. C is Latin for 100. So the answer is mix and make powder and give off such doses. I give off 100 such doses. M, again, mice, which means mix. Et, which means and. FT, payat, which means make. IV, which means there is no Latin for IV, which is only intravenous. Then injection, no Latin. Answer is mix and make an intravenous injection. Last, the only one I am going to translate is mg, which means milligrams, and tabs, which means tablets. Tableta in Latin, then tablets in English. So the answer is same level. Hydrocortisone 20 mg or milligram tablets. That's all for number 1 part 1. Thank you. Good day. This is the part 2 of my video. For letter A, GTT. In Latin, it is gutta, which means drop. Double I is 2 in Latin. HI, it is already English, but it has a Latin abbreviation. Its Latin abbreviation is OU, which means otro, I think. Then Q, the Latin word for Q is quaque, which means every. And H, Latin word for H is hora, which means hour. Then PRN, Latin word for prorenata, which means as needed. And then English already pain. So the answer for this is instill 2 drops in each eye every 4 hours. 4 hours for as needed. For pain. So let's proceed to B. TBSP. It has no Latin. It is tablespoonful in English. I, which means 1 in Latin. Then in, it is already English. In 1/3 GL, which means glass. AQ, which means aqua in Latin. Then it is water in English. Q again, quaque, which means every. Then H, hora, which means 6 hours. So our answer is take 1 tablespoon TBSP or tablespoon full in 1/3 glass of water every 6 hours. 6 hours. C, APPL, it is apply in English. Then AM, Latin, its Latin word is antemeridium, and I think it has no Latin word. It is already ET. And PM, Latin word for PM is post meridium, which means afternoon or evening. Then ang AM is morning. Then for every pain, it is already in English. PRN, which means prorenata in Latin, which means as needed in English. So our answer is apply morning and night as needed for pain. Then D, GTT again, which means gota in Latin, GUTTA, and IV, Latin for number 4. Then right ear, it is already in English, but it has a Latin abbreviation. Its Latin abbreviation is AD, which means auris dextro. In English, right ear. Then M and N, it has no Latin. It is already morning, means morning and night. So our answer is instill 4 drops into the right ear, morning and night. TSP, which means teaspoonful in English because it has no Latin. Then I, Latin numerals for 1. X is display. AQ, aqua in Latin, which means water. Q, quaque in Latin, which means every. And 4 or 5 H, H is hora, which means 4 or 5 hour. PRN, PRN is pro prenata in Latin, which means as needed. Then pain, this is already in English. So our answer is take one TSP or teaspoonful in water every 4 or 5 hours as needed for pain. F, APPL, that is, which means apply in English. ULG, or I don't know how to pronounce it, which means unguentum in Latin and ointment for English. Then left eye is already in English, but it has Latin abbreviation. Its Latin abbreviation is OS, oculo singsto. So OS means left eye. Ad lib, which means ad libitum in Latin, which means at pleasure or freely in English. So the answer here is apply ointment to left eye freely or at pleasure. Caps, it has no Latin word. It is already capsule or capsules. Then I, Latin word for number 1. Then this symbol is cum, which in Latin, which means with. AQ is aqua in Latin, which means water. And HS, hora sumni in Latin, which means at bedtime. And NR, non-repetitur, which means do not repeat in English. So the answer, take 1 capsules with water at bedtime. Do not repeat. So GGT stands for gota, G-U-T-T-E in Latin, which means drop in English, and V is Latin word for 5, number 5. Each ear is already English, but it has Latin abbreviation, which means auris otro in Latin. So in English, each ear. So this 3XD is means 3 times a day, and SOS is si opposite or si opposite in Latin, which means as needed also. Then so the answer is instill 5 drops into each ear 3 times a day as needed. Then for I, tab, it has no Latin word. It is it has Latin word tableta, tablet in English. I, Latin word for number 1. Then sublingually. Sublingually is an administration in which a tablet, it means oral cavity, so it is allowed to dissolve completely in the oral cavity. So our rep is repetatur in Latin, which means repeat. Then PRN prorenata, which means as needed. So the answer is place 1 tab under the tongue, repeat as needed. J in still, it's already given English. GTT, again GUTTA or gota in Latin, which means drop. And double I, Latin for number 2. Each I, it is already in English, but it has Latin abbreviation. Its Latin abbreviation is OU, oculo otro. So oculo otro is each eye in English. Of neonate. Neonate is a newborn. So the answer is instill 2 drops into each eye of the newborn.
Go.
Dil, which means dilutus in Latin and dilute in English. This symbol is cum in Latin, which means with in English. Then this means volume. AQ is aqua in Latin word, which means water. and used as a gargle. It is already in English. So Q, quaque in Latin, which means every. Then 5R, HR is hora. So 5 hour. The answer is dilute with equal volume of water and use as gargle every 5 hours. Cup, it has no Latin, so capsule in English. Then double I, Latin for number 2. 1 HR, HR is hora, so 1 hour prior to departure. Already in English. Then also in English, cup again. It is capsule in English. I, Latin for number 1. Then after all English. So 12 hours. So hours is hora in Latin. And so the answer is take 2 capsules 1 hour prior to departure. Then 1 capsule after 12 hours. Tab, which in Latin tableta, which means tablets. I, Latin word for number 1. PRN is prorenata, which means as needed. Then the SOB, it has no Latin word. It is shortness of breath in English. So the answer is take 1 tablet as needed for shortness of breath. Then for N, tab is tableta in Latin, which means tablet. I, Latin for number 1. Q, quaque in Latin, which means every. AM, ante meridiem, which means morning. And HBP, high blood pressure. So our answer is take 1 tablet every morning for high blood pressure. Tableta in Latin and tablet in English. Double I is a Latin word for number 2. Q, quawe, which means every. 6 H is hora, which means, so it is 6 hours. ATC, there's no Latin, so it means at around the clock. Then UTI, also no Latin, it means urinary tract injection in English. So the answer is take 2 tablets every 6 hours around the clock for urinary tract infection. Mm, 2 dram. So we need to convert this. 1 dram is equals to 1 TSP. So 2 dram is equals to 2 TSP. 4XD is 4 times a day in English. So PC is post cibus in Latin, which means after meals, and it is already English. Then HS is hora somni in Latin, which means at bedtime. So the answer is take 2 TSP or teaspoonful 4 times a day after meals and at bedtime. Mm. 0.5, I think it is 0.5 fluid out. So this it means 0.5 ounce. So if we convert it to TBSP, it is 1 tablespoonful. Then AC is antecebus in Latin, which means before meals. Then TID is ter in die, which mean in Latin, which means 3 times a day. Answer, take 1 tablespoonful before meals 3 times a day. Last, add crushed tablets to pet's food SID. So it is already the add and crush in English. Tablet has Latin abbreviation, tableta, and tablet in English. Then to pet's food, it is already in English. SID is semel in die, which means once a day. Answer is the same. Add crush tablets to pets food once a day. Only the SID have changed. I changed. That's all. Thank you. Good day. It is my part 3 for practice solving. Ambien is already given. Then 10 mg So I only need to translate mg. Mg means grams, milligrams. Then po in Latin, it is means per os. Then q, quaque, which means every. Hs, which means hora sumni in Latin, which means at bedtime in English, times 5 days. So the answer is ambient 10 mg by mouth at every bedtime for 5 days. For B, 1000 ml, which means milliliters. And D, 5W, which means dextrose 5% in water. Q, quaque, which means every. 8H, hora, so 8 hours. IV is intravenous in English. Then this symbol, C, and it is cum in Latin, which means with. Then 20 MEQ, which means MEQ is milli equivalent. So 20 MEQ is 20 milli equivalent. KCI is potassium chloride to every third bottle. And this is already given in English. So the answer is 1000 ml of 5% dextrose in water for every 8 hours, and intravenously with 20 milliequivalent of potassium chloride added to every third bottle. So let's proceed to C. Admin, which it has no Latin, so it is administer in English, and prochlorperazine, I don't know how to pronounce this. It is already given. 10 mg, mg is milligrams. IM, which means intramuscular. Q, quaque, which means every. 3H, H is hora, so 3H is 3 hour. PRN is prorenata, which means as needed. Then NAV and V, which means nausea and vomiting. So our answer is administer 10 mg of prochlorpera entra, so I am intramuscular every then 3 hours. 3 R's. And then PRN, if there is need for dysgnosia and that's it. Thank you. Good